And thank you everyone for, first of all, inviting me and joining us. I'm Yael Raz. As Yael said, I'm the Director of Resilience and Emergency Response Division of the Jewish Agency. This week, I mark my 23rd year with the Jewish Agency for Israel at different positions. I'm currently working on my PhD in Tel Aviv University, surprisingly focused on resilience of Jewish communities. I want to start by saying that 2 days ago, we've marked the 25th year for the Sbarro attack in Jerusalem. Many of you may remember the Second Intifada. This was exactly when the Fund for Victims of Terror was established. Back then, I lost one of my closest friends, Vika Golombek, and circling back to this drama this week, and as Eric said yesterday, we got news about the tragedy and the enormous loss of Will Shakin. Will came to Israel a few months after October the 7th. He wanted to draft to the IDF. He quit his school, university studies, and came over to Israel, participated in one of our pre-academy courses in Carmiel Absorption Center, and in May 2024, joined the IDF at Golani and served quite rough service, both in Gaza and in Lebanon. Lost two close friends of his. And by the time he was released from the army, completed his service, he was struggling. He went to the Benji House, who supports lone soldiers, tried to get the aid that he needed there. It wasn't enough, and the family decided to take him over to the States to be with his closest circle. Unfortunately, yesterday, we got the word that he took his own life. Ever since then, our teams, the Wing program, the Aliyah unit, my division, hand in hand with the IDF, with the municipality of Jerusalem and other partners of ours, started to work very closely with the family. His parents, Eric, the father, and Karen, the mother. He has two siblings in Israel. And thanks to Karen Ayasod and other partners of ours, we are now bringing him over to proper burial in Israel. The parents would land in Israel in a couple of hours. And I think in the next 24 hours, we will participate in his funeral and will invite all our partners here in Israel to be part of the Shiva. So these unfortunate circumstances once again prove the partnership that we have. And Karen Ayasod stepped up immediately as we called to help us support the burial process and the entire operation of bringing him to proper burial in Israel. May his memory be of blessing. Today, I want to share a bit about the work of the Fund for the Victims of Terror, which you, as UIA Australia, have been one of our main supporters throughout the years. And I want to share a bit about the work that we've done since October 7th and actually focus about the kids, because now we are at the summer, our third day of the summer camps here of the Fund for Victims of Terror in Israel. I want to share a bit of the stories. So the vision of the fund is, most of you know, the fund was established in 2002, the Second Intifada, and the idea was to show solidarity of Jewish communities around the world with victims of terror in Israel. I had the privilege of overseeing the fund for 15 years now, and the work that we're doing is so unique because it's not the governmental support, and the government in Israel is doing so much to support victims of terror, and we work very closely with them. The idea that someone at the other part of the world, miles and miles away, think of me as a victim of terror in my most darkest of hours, is something very unique to the victims, that when we are coming so closely to the attack and give them a hug on behalf of our friends around the world, the Jewish communities, and of course, our partners in Keren Ayasod. So when we're talking about the establishment of the fund, and I want to focus a bit about the numbers. So in 2002, we've established the fund, and ever since then, for almost 20 years, we've dealt with some 200 families a year who've received our long-term support and some 100 families who've received our immediate support, very close to the attack itself. And that was, a team of three doing a very, I think, tailor-made, hands-on rehabilitation program tailoring for each and every one of the families. And in 2021, Guardian of the World, we had a week. In 1 week, we had 300 families that we needed to support. And that was kind of a change for us and unfortunately or fortunately, a practice on how to scale up the work of the Fund for the Victims of Terror. And when October 7th happened, and as I said, we were a team of three, we immediately realized that we have a structure, we have a system, we need more people, we need more resources. And one of the first phone calls was, of course, to our partners in Keren Hayesod. And some of you may remember that I think it was 48 hours after this horrendous attack that Ayelet Nachmias Verbin, our chair, was already on a Zoom with you guys in Australia. This was the first Zoom that we had after October 7th. Ever since then, the fund supported just from October 7th, some 9,500 families. And when we're talking about supporting 9,000 families in 20 years, and now the same amount of families just from one day, you can try and imagine the scaling up of the fund. The past few years, we had the 2 rounds with Iran, supporting thousands and thousands of new families as well. And you can see the number adding up until now. Over 35,000 families just from October 7th received support, thanks to you and thanks to our partners around the world. So October 7th was a game changer. We had to restructure the fund. We had to recruit some 25 new employees. Thanks to our partners, we were able to raise over $100 million to support the families. And we took a few decisions that weren't trivial at that point. And one of them was not to lower the standard of the support that we will offer our beneficiaries. Most of you know that very close to the attack, we have our immediate grant, 4,000 shekels, and we actually debated for a few hours because we realized that we will support thousands of families, whether we should lower the amount of support to half, 2,000, or leave it as it is, and trust our partners around the world to fundraise the money. And we've decided not to lower the standards, and we knew that we'll have your backing and our partners around the world, and we started, to go to the different hotels from Eilat to Haifa. Hundred of visits of employees of the Jewish Agency and visitors from all over the world. And in 24 hours, we also mobilized our Aliyah call center to receive calls from different people from Israel to figure out what they can receive from us, what support we can offer them. And we actually had to restructure the entire organization. We built a new website. We made everything very easy and digitalized all the processes, working very closely with our beneficiaries. So what are the numbers up until now? And you can see the immediate grants rose to 9,500 families who received the 4,000 shekels. Up until now, over 13,000 families received our long-term rehabilitation grant. That means that everyone in our team, the 25 amazing staff members of the Fund for the Victims of Terror, is talking to tens of families each day, tailoring a specific program of rehabilitation. This is not money being wired to their bank accounts. This is a conversation. This is listening to them. Sometimes this is, the first phone call that anyone answered and actually had some sort of a discussion with them about their wants, wills, wishes, dreams. And we try to be there for them, not just to listen, but also to empower them and make them be part of their rehabilitation and have a choice where the money should go. Over 2,000 kids already participated in different, and I will focus in a moment about our summer camps and respite activities. But I want to say now, we remember, and I've been here for 15 years, that the main supporters of the Fund for Victims of Terror summer camps throughout the years were Keren HaYesod. Before October 7th, you were the main partner of ours in this amazing, amazing operation. Some 21 days a year, we've invited 200, 250 kids, mainly from the South, for summer camps. These kids cannot go to the summer camp at their school, their JCC. They're too anxious, they're too loud, and they would be probably thrown home after 2.5 hours. When they came to our summer camp, something else happened, something different. They were hugged, they were normal. They met people, they met kids, other kids that were like them. They felt normal again, and this is what we are pursuing ever since then, and I will elaborate in a minute. If you see the two main operations with the run, Rising Lion and Roaring Lion, these are the numbers of families that received our support. The same structure, the same organization, the same 25 people who dealt with the thousands and thousands of requests from October 7th, dealt now with new families all over Israel who lost their houses, bereaving families, injured people who went to the hospitals, and this is on top of supporting all the families from October 7th. We've realized after October 7th, and I think Yael have discussed this with you in the past, that Israel does not have enough therapists. Not everyone who will need support, individual support, could sit in a clinic in front of a therapist and receive care. We also realize that not everyone needs this kind of support. Some people need something else. We realized that communities were impacted and not just individuals and families, and this is the reason why the Fund for Victims of Terror have initiated our group therapy and actually built a new department within the Fund for the Victims of Terror. This department is dealing with what we call the group intervention system. We've approached all the municipalities in the Gaza envelope and later on at the northern border and actually asked them for the gaps of intervention for individuals within the community. Some of them are not necessarily recognized as victims of terror, but demonstrate some sort of symptoms that need care, need support. Up until now, we've supported through this amazing system over 14,000 individuals, but they are receiving the care within groups, within their communities. And you can see the number of the Nova survivors who were supported through the program, over 1,000, almost 1,200. You can see the urban communities in the north, over 4,000 participants in our program and so forth. And this is something that we will pursue. We are now developing a new program with Keren HaYesod, what we call Mobile Resilience Center. The idea that was tried successfully in the south at the Eshkol Regional Council is to take a truck, to build a clinic at the backside of the truck, and to commute it throughout the different communities in the north. The geography there is enormous. People sometimes cannot access care, and the idea is that we'll have a mobile resilience center, and Keren HaYesod already committed to this amazing program, which will be launched after Rosh Hashanah, thank God. So this is the thing about the innovation that the Jewish Agency, thanks to Keren HaYesod, was able to do and support thousands of Israel within group intervention programs. And that brings me to our joy of summer 2026. Before October 7th, as I said, we had some 200 kids participating regularly in our summer camps. And after October 7th, the number rose dramatically. If before that we could invite kids who were part of a household that suffered trauma, now we mainly focus on kids who suffered trauma themselves and were recognized with PTSD themselves. And basically, this change the entire system. What we see in the summer camps at the past year and a half resemble to what we see at Youth Futures. We have all sorts of aspects, I would say, of youth at risk, the behavior, the anxiety, and so forth. And that made us recruit different instructors, made us build a different system. For the first time, we embedded therapeutic, not just intervention, but supervision within our summer camps. And we have a designated social workers that work with the instructors, is present throughout the entire camp. And when we just published this summer that we have a summer camp, the registration was completed, I think, in 2 hours. And let's see what we're doing during this summer. So beside the traditional summer camp, thanks to Keren Hayesod, we are able to invite twice a year thousands and thousands of participants in our programs for 1 day of respite activity. This is not just the kids and their families. And last week we had such an event at the Superland in Rishon LeZion. Some 1,300 participants came over. Among them, families of the hostages, released hostages. You can see here in the middle the family of Bar Cooperstein, released hostages. Released hostage who they came and participated, and we had kids from all around Israel, even families from before October 7th, which we keep in touch with, and we're so grateful. This is an opportunity for us to meet the families, not just talk with them throughout the phone, but actually hug them. And what I found very exciting about this day, that I was chased after by a couple of people who came over, and they just wanted to say, I want you to know that Ilana, your coordinator, is amazing. And she calls me every day in order to tailor my rehabilitation program. I want to tell you that Sapir is so great, and she's so nice to me, and she's so thoughtful and caring. And it was so important for our beneficiaries to come and say thank you. And this was very exciting for us to meet them. Last Friday in the morning, I visited a unique new program of ours. For the last year and a half, we're cooperating with Summer Camps Israel. This is an organization that brought the concept of summer camps from the Jewish world to Israel. And the idea is to take Israelis for 10 days of traditional Jewish summer camp. In the woods, no phone for 10 days, and so forth. We were able to support this summer 250 kids from 4 communities in the northern border. And they came over, and currently it's their second week, and they're participating in this unique project of summer camps. There are 8 graders coming over from different kibbutzim all around the north. Some of them, most of them are not familiar with one another. So this was a new support system for them. And as you know, summer camps, the first 4 days are the toughest and roughest, and they, pitched in and slept in the woods, and it was very nice to come and see them after 5 or 6 days, breathing again, relaxing again. We were there with the representatives of their municipalities coming and visiting them. And the ceremony that they conducted, telling us how important it was for them to be kids again, to meet other kids again, to sleep an entire night, was very moving for us. So this is a second thing that we're doing through this summer. And the traditional summer camp, this is our third day. In a few minutes, the buses will be heading to the south, collecting the 200 and something kids from the south, and they will participate in 2 weeks of our summer camp, which Keren Hayesod is supporting for so many years. So I said the registration was enormous, and the challenges are there. But our team was on the ground for the last 2 days, talking to the kids and trying to realize, who are we dealing with? Who are these kids who are coming over? So most of the kids that we met in the past few days are kids who are not going outside of their home, are not socializing with other kids. They feel that sometimes that they are being labeled by their peers, by their communities, and they didn't want to go to other summer camps. Most of them are new to us. I would say that because they are kids who were recognized after October 7th with PTSD. But for some reason, knowing that they would meet kids like themselves with the symptoms, with the labeling, made them go outside of their home and come and trust us. And the parents decided to trust us and send their kids for these 2 days. Watching a kid coming in the morning, not knowing anyone within the camp, and by the end of the day, hugging the instructor, holding hands with other kids from their group, because we divided the group according to their age. Most of them are between the ages of 6 and 12, the younger kids from elementary school. And and I would say that we see the trust evolving throughout the days, and I'm sure this day would be even more fantastic than the day that they experienced up till now. These kids need the time off, but the parents also need the time off. And we called each and every one of the parents before to realize what triggers their kids, what they need as a support system, and so forth. And they said most of them were exhausted completely, saying, "Thank God that you are here, and the Jewish communities are here to support us, and they need a break as well." We can see them, completely exhausted. So we still have a week and a half ahead of us for these summer camps, and this is one of the most unique projects that the fund is supporting throughout the years. And thanks to our friends at the Israel Experience, our subsidiary company, who supports the camps for a few years now, we are able to give them a few days of joy. It's not just days of joy, because I don't know if you know, but there is a correlation in Israel between the social demographic aspects and getting injured with terror. So some of our families are recognized by the welfare system of their municipalities. So we try to bring over to the table not just fun and amusement parts, but also theater and other elements of cultural activities, just to give them the opportunity to be exposed to more and more activities that on a day-to-day basis they are not being exposed to, either because they're not getting out of their home or the families are unable to provide that. So this summer is a very unique summer for us. We will complete the 3 years of the work of the fund by the end of 2026, and we anticipate, as planned, the fund will grow back not to the size that it was before October 7, but will complete most of our rehabilitation grant program, and we will farewell from some of our staff members. And one of our main concerns now is to find a role for them either within the Jewish agency or our partner organization, and this is exactly what we are working on. And I would say that my main concern as the head of the fund for the last 15 years, but mainly the last 3 years, is the well-being of the team members. And we have a support system, individual and collective, to our 25 amazing superstar staff members. And as you can imagine, they are exposed to enormous trauma on a daily basis. And this is not just burnout. We are very concerned about secondary trauma. And this is the reason why they receive traditional individual support as well as group therapy for the entire team. And we are there to be there for them at the day after, and not just thank them, but making sure that they're not paying a price individually for the amazing role that they did. So this is a survey that we did last June, and you can see the number of satisfactory of our beneficiary. And that was, a tap on the shoulder for us, saying, we know that we are doing important work, but hearing it from our beneficiaries, we heard that last week on the Super Land Amusement Park when we met them. This was a reflection of what we've done the past 3 years. And I want to say that none of this would be we could do nothing without your support. And we know that federations and the organization around the world are thinking of us, but we know that we are in the hearts of the Australian Jewish community, and we feel that. And we know that you've been here for us for so many years, and I want to thank you for that. Personally, and this is why it was so important for me. And I thank Yael for inviting me to come over and say that we know that you're there for us for so many years, and we bring your words and your hug to our families each and every day, and they know, and this is the most important part, that they are not alone. So thank you very much for your support, and thank you so much for your partnership.
Thank you, Yael. And as our viewers have just seen, and as we've always known, it's amazing the level of detail that you're across and the impact of the fund. And really, I think in many ways it will be world leading. There are not many countries, thank God for those countries, but in a sense that need an infrastructure like you've built over the last 5 years. And for those people that are now being forced to use it, because ultimately nobody wants to use it. But thank God that
That's right.
and thank God you're there to provide that support. So